students, I wanted to just share a few really important things in the classroom, just overall things that will help us run smoothly and will help you finish up your cultural series pieces. Your second piece is due on Wednesday. So some finish up things, but first things first. That bucket, that orange bucket, is where you go to get your fresh clay, okay? When you are finished working on your piece, so you get your clay out of there, you go to your area and you're working and you finish working on your piece, and you have extra clay, do not take your extra clay and put it back in there. Also, please do not get your extra clay and put it in here, okay? Don't do that, because your clay has been sitting out for an hour and drying, and then you're giving it, you're making another student have to use it. Don't do that anymore, okay? Let me show you something, okay? What you need to do, see over here? See that cabinet right there? Plastic bags. So here's what I want you to do, okay? You're gonna open this up. This is below, see? Hand dryer, below the hand dryer, below the stampers, plastic bags. Down here, look, plastic bags. There are all kinds of plastic bags that we keep in here, okay? Grab one that works for the amount of clay that you need, and you keep your extra clay in this bag. Seal it, spray it. If it gets dry while it's sitting on your desk, then you spray it and you put it in your bag and you put it on your shelf, okay? Don't give it to another student. Other students don't want your clay that's dry, okay? They just don't, so please don't do that, okay? And then you just reuse it. Do not, whatever you do, please don't do this. Do not put any more clay in there. Look, broken wheel, about to fall over. I don't know how many pounds are in there, but way too much, okay? Don't put your clay there. You reconstitute your own clay, okay? We've got enough to do. I've got all of my AP students that are reconstituting all of this clay and putting it in our pug mill. See that? That's our pug mill. So, you know, just help us out, please, okay? Secondly, I wanted to show you something. So this is a little pinch pot. I saw some of you doing this. I saw some of you making a pinch pot the other day, and what you're doing is you're making it and then you're wanting to smooth it out and make it smooth and perfect on day one when it's plastic. Leave it in your cabinet and wait until the next day, okay? Because when it's leather hard, like early stage, middle stage, by the time you get back to class, then you can take one of those rubber ribs and use the rubber rib, okay? Over here, you see this cabinet? This cabinet. Miscellaneous sculpting tools. Rubber ribs. Rubber ribs, okay? That's where you get them. So that's one thing that I just like cringe when I see that. So don't start trying to fine tune your pieces, please, right away, okay? Another thing that's happening that I want to make sure you're not doing, I noticed a couple students were working with Sgraffito, and before their underglaze dried, they were already carving. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your underglaze has to dry. It has to be completely dry, not shiny. So when you do that, you're just ruining your piece. Don't do that. If you see the person next to you doing something like that, just say, I would wait. Or if you see them carving during plastic stage, say something, okay? Sometimes I can't catch you. I mean, it's like herding cats in here sometimes. So please, I teach you the stages of clay in Ceramics 1 so you can be successful in Ceramics 2. Okay, now that you're at your very, very, very last few days of working on your second piece, I just wanted to show you something, okay? Just like clean up, finish up and clean up ideas, okay? So for instance, this piece, I was just kind of making it and adding some decoration to it. So I used just some ideas first. I used this tool, which is one of our cool little, in our stamper cabinet back there. This cool little one, and I just kind of rolled it around the bottom to give just kind of like a little leaf looking, you know, texture. And then I used this tool to create, see those little circles? If you want a circle, use these for circles. Otherwise, don't even attempt a circle because it's impossible to make them look nice unless you use something like this and stamp them on, okay? And then I used this tool to just do all these carvings, like intricate carvings. So I'm, you know, working with like this one would be what, subtractive process because I did the carving. So then clean up ideas. I will not let you put it on that ready to be fired cart unless it looks nice and neat and detailed, okay? If it looks like a disaster, I'm gonna give it back to you. And you're gonna clean it up, okay? You're in Ceramics 2 now. So a little bit higher expectations, all right? So this needs some cleanup. It's a little, you know, it's just got some things that are driving me crazy. Like, see that? That's unacceptable. See that little ridge right there? Unacceptable. You see that? You know, just things that drive you crazy. So take a dry brush, and you can get rid of all those little burrs that happen, that occur. The later you wait to carve, like if I would have waited and done all this carving real quickly at the black hard stage, I would have ended up with 0 burrs, okay? But this was around late stage of leather hard, so I do have just a few little burrs. So I'm just gonna take the brush, dry, okay? And I'm just getting all those burrs off. It's easy, clean it up. Okay, now it's still not really as clean as I want it to be, because I just see a few areas, like for instance, see that area right there just looks a little messy, like it's not perfect, you know? And I know I'm being meticulous, but that's how I am. There's another area right there that's driving me crazy. Oh gosh, this area right there. You see that area right there? It's a little messy, okay? So I'm gonna just dip my brush into some water and just refine those areas, okay? Just refine it. And if it drips, just get a sponge and kind of, you know. I don't want it down here because this is just a stamper. I don't need it down there. But this will just kind of smooth out those areas and just make it look a little bit nicer. You don't want a lot of water because if I put a lot of water on this, then I might end up getting my clay too wet and then just smearing it around. But this is going to be a perfect way to refine. And those of you that do a good job at refining, and then you also wait until your piece is bone dry and do more refining at bone dry, end up having more successful pieces. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by refining at bone dry? I'll show you. Let me just hold on a second. I'm just kind of going through, kind of fixing some stuff here. That area is driving me berserk. There's a little piece right there that won't come out. I'm just gonna very carefully there. Very carefully do that. I think that's a little better. I just kind of got rid of a lot of those little areas that were kind of ugly. But if you can spend some time doing this to your pieces before you put them on the ready to be fired cart, your craftsmanship will look better. Okay? So much better. Okay, so that's refinement number 1. Refinement number 2 is to take steel wool. I have some steel wool, and even sandpaper to really, areas that just need a little bit of work. Mine doesn't need too much work, but do you see this? I'm going to show you. Do you see that little rim right there? If I waited until tomorrow, it's just that little edge right there. You see that lip? It's kind of driving me crazy. But if I wait till tomorrow and it is bone dry, then I can get some of that steel wool, and I'll show you where it is. You can just steel wool it very, very, very gently. Remember, bone dry is very fragile, so you would just want to go over it just a little bit with steel wool, and that is going to really smooth it out, because the steel wool that I got is the really fine steel wool. I think it's like 1 or 0, and it's really fine, but it refines your pieces and makes it really, really smooth. If you ever see ceramics pieces that are smooth like that, that's probably what the artist did, is went over it with the steel wool. You wouldn't want to steel wool your designs and decorations too much, maybe just a tiny bit, because you don't want to end up erasing them and sanding them off, but it really does work, and it makes your pieces look so much better. So anyway, those are refinements that you need to make before you put it on the ready to be fired cart. Okay, don't put messy, burry, if you know what I mean by burry, like pieces sticking out and not carved well pieces on the ready to be fired cart, because I will put it back on your shelf for you, because we're not doing that anymore. Okay, we're doing nice, refined pieces of artwork. That's why I'm giving you 7 full days to work on piece 2. And 5 full days to work on piece 3. Now that we're at the very end of working on piece 2, you cannot put it on the ready to be fired cart unless you check with me. I might let a few of you put it on Tuesday during class, maybe. And then you can start on your 3rd piece on Wednesday. And that would give you an extra day for piece number 3, okay? So I'm just, wanting you to have successful pieces that you end up keeping and liking, and not a piece that you throw in the trash can in the hallway, okay? So if you're gonna pay the fee and you're gonna use the materials, I want you to be successful and do something really cool that you're gonna love and keep. That's why the expectations are higher in ceramics too, okay? All right, so I hope those things are successful, and I hope you enjoy finishing up your 2nd piece.